No. Hi, Sergio.
Hello, hello. Hey, Angelo, what's up?
I'm good. I'm here in Colombia. I'm traveling and working, and I'm escaping the gray winter in Europe. Although here is not as hot as other places in Colombia, but it's very peaceful. You can see very beautiful valleys with high palm trees, the highest in the world, actually. And yeah, I'm enjoying life fully. How about you?
Beautiful, man. Yeah. I also see like your background looks like very, very exotic, huh?
Yeah.
I am in a white room. It's the room of space and time of Dragon Ball. I'm training very, very hard. I'm in Cyprus, in Paphos. It's a relatively big village in Paphos. I moved here. I'm gonna open a company here, and now my life is gonna settle here. So I'm up for a new chapter in my life. And what I'm finding out more and more in these days is how happy I am to be free to go wherever I want and do whatever I want with my life. And that's a beautiful thing. And since I know that you have been through the same process, actually, I would love to talk about that with you today.
Yeah, let's talk about freedom. What do you think is freedom? What does it mean to you?
Hey, we start with a very easy question.
Very easy, just
very easy. So freedom can be as simple as doing what you want, but freedom can also be, in the highest sense, boundless freedom, including freedom from yourself. So the way I see it, there are many degrees to that. Let's say that you have certain desires and you want to fulfill them. And if you're able to do that, let's say you have the financial means or you have the physical means to do them, then you can consider yourself free up to a certain point. But maybe you have those desires because when you were a child, you got conditioned to think in a certain way and wanted to do certain things. So if you are actually acting from that point, from that part of you, or maybe you're acting from guilt or you're acting because you want to impress people, you can have all the material success you want, you're still not free. You're still a slave to others, let's say. So, and freedom can also be considered the ability to consciously not fulfill your desires and still be okay. It's funny because one of my mentors has been in jail for 1 year and a half. And actually he was coming back from Colombia to Spain.
Doing
and
what?
Then he was doing ayahuasca in Colombia, and then he brought some ayahuasca with him to organize retreats in Spain. They got him at the airport and they put him in jail for 1 year and a half. The trial took very, very long, and he had to stay in jail without knowing when he would have gone out, what were the charges against him. He didn't know anything about it. He was going neurotic completely, he was going psycho, right? And exactly in jail, he found out freedom, what freedom actually is, which is not being physically able to move and travel the world, actually. It's this sense of openness and freedom within yourself. It's this silence you can lose yourself in. It's this boundless being that lives inside you. It's this connection with the boundless being that is inside you. So the way I see freedom is the more free you are inside, the more in touch you are with this authentic part of you, the real you, the more freedom will manifest all around you with something called abundance, which the way I see it is the ability to do what you want to do anytime you want to do it, anything that is relevant for you, you know? And this is also tied with the concept of purpose, in my opinion, because there are certain things that I like doing more than others, yes, that are more relevant for me to do. And when I do them, I am more satisfied. Yeah, I am more fulfilled. And yeah.
I have a question. So
Yes.
How do you know if something that apparently you want to do is because you really want to do it, or because there's some need to be fulfilled behind it?
Yeah, it could be both. It could be both. And there is, the way I see it, there is nothing wrong with wanting something out of ego, let's call it this way, and then going for it to realize it was out of ego. Like many desires, the best way to transcend desires, to go past them, to be free of them, is to fulfill them very often. And once you have the certain experiences you think you want to have and you realize they're not what you expected to be, you drop them.
Or, so in a way, yeah, you consciously go through even things that apparently seem bad. Like, for example, if you want to quit smoking, you should consciously smoke, right? And like, yes, understand why are you smoking, and what are you trying to fulfill? Is it like that?
Yes, let's say let's say yes. It could be smoking. It could be relationships. It could be sex, for example, or it could be making money. Okay, it could be living a very lavish lifestyle. Okay, which is something many people want to achieve in modern society. And the reason why we want to achieve them is not because we feel called to do them, but because we see all around us stimuli that tells us that's the right thing for you to do. You know, like let's say you are a career coach, right? You are helping people change career, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And you studied in Bocconi, in Milan, where there are many people who want to do certain kind of careers, not because it's the best thing possible to do in their life, but because the environment tells you that's what you should be doing. Yes, then you go do that, and the expectations you had get crushed by a reality that is much different than what you expected. So your ability to fulfill their desire is included in the freedom, but you gotta be aware of what you're doing. You know, you always have the opportunity to find out what is true for you and what isn't, but you have to exercise that awareness, as you say, which is true.
So can I say that in the end, freedom is being aware all the time?
I would say, I mean, you can say it, and actually I'm curious to hear what your perspective on it is. My perspective right now is I am free if I am able to stay loving all the time, no matter what happens. In a sense, so this means whatever thing happens outside of me doesn't impact my sense of fulfillment and joy and love that I have inside. That's when I know I'm free. So if a guy at the corner of the street tells me I'm ugly, and I'm like, ugh, and I get sad and I get all insecure and everything, even if I'm a multi-millionaire with a super hot wife and everything, I'm not free because the guy pulls me, you know, by the balls because he can just say something and I would feel bad.
Yeah. So my perspective, after doing some internal work, is that there is a difference between needing and wanting. So you might feel an urge, and then you need to go through it and identify if it's a need or an urge. I had this thing with relationships or women, let's say. I feel like I needed women to fill a hole in myself, right? And once I started to look at the reason why I was not, I was needing women, I started to, feel more love for myself and be more, let's say, independent in a way, and actually be, independent and happy first, and then I started wanting to know more people and resonate with more people. What do you think?
Well, I resonate with that because I went through something similar, you know, and in fact, I think relationships and women, or well, the relationship with the other sex is one of the best ways to find out how you are blocking yourself, how you are preventing yourself from being free. And for what's happening for me recently, for example, is that I don't care that much about sex and women anymore. And what is interesting is that more and more women reach out to me and ask me for help, you know, even with their sexuality. You know, I have more and more opportunities and I don't care. I don't mind too much, which is actually what makes me more magnetic. It's very counterintuitive, by the way it works. And the thing with needing is also interesting because when you say I need something, even with a smoke of cigarette, right? The mind tells you I need to smoke a cigarette, otherwise I'm too stressed. Or the mind tells you I need to go and find a girlfriend, otherwise I am too lonely. What happens if you're too lonely, if you're too stressed? What happens, right? There are going to be some sensations that come out of you. There is a reaction. There is something inside you you're not willing to face. And so you are a slave to that bad feeling.
Yeah.
Yes.
But how do you let go of that bad feeling? Like, which techniques would you recommend?
It's actually that's something I teach to every client, right? That's also what you teach, and it's called David Hawkins, the doctor who gave the name to it, named it letting go. It's about feeling the feeling for what it is whenever it comes up, and staying with it for as long as it needs, for as long as this internal pressure is released, which is what he wants to do. another truth I found in my path is that everything that is inside us that makes us feel uncomfortable or it's unpleasant to be with actually wants to go out, wants to leave us, wants to find its way out of our system, but it's us preventing it from.
Yeah, because we are resisting it, right? Like we are kind of not aware of it, and we are slaves. But actually, if you pause for a moment and like ask yourself, do I identify with this feeling? Is it defining me? Like what's happening when you start looking at yourself, you actually realize you're a slave of this uncomfortable sensation, and then you act because you want to get rid of it. But yeah, it goes away if you do that thing that it urges you to do. But the next time that the same situation happens, it will come back, it will haunt you. Whereas if you actually do this letting go meditation, I found that you actually accept rather than resist the sensation. And once you do that, you're free. It's almost stupid when you do it the first time. like what the fuck? Is it so simple? Yes. It's so simple. Although I feel that a lot of people have fear of looking in their mind, and they're just too scared. It seems like it's something too big. When they sit down, they're like, their head is spinning all the time. So what do you suggest to these people?
So the most important thing I would say is find someone who has done the work already. Okay, like find someone like Angelo, okay, who managed to work out of that and is a living example on how it's done. And you have that as a reference point. Because one thing I see is that if you are surrounded by people who are stuck in their mind as you are, it is very, very difficult to break out of that. If the only examples around you are all lost in their own loops, are all lost in their own urges, in their own habits, for dysfunctional that they may be, you may do the same. If you find someone who has done that already and can be there as a point of reference for you, you will find the strength to do it. And this is what makes me so fulfilled about being a coach, is that I live to inspire others. It's like I have done it. I have broken free from, not completely. There is a lot of work. Okay, this is not something you do in a day. I've been doing it like hardcore for years. I still have a lot of work to do, right? But the amount of power my mind with its fears holds on me is greatly reduced. And so now I can allow myself to do things I could have never imagined 3 years ago. Yes, I've taken very, very brave choices in my life. The advice I can give to people like that is be honest with yourself first. Like you got to understand what's going on with you. What's going on with you? Are you really living the life you want to live? Yes or no? If yes, keep going. It's fine. 95% of people will answer yes. The 5% to realize there is something off. Now that you realize it's something off, you will want to find a way to get out. And that courage will be enough for you to face the fear, or at least to start the ball rolling. That's how I see it.
Yeah. So at the beginning, I was afraid of starting a coaching program. And I was like, no, too much money. What if it doesn't work? But then it gave me the perspective, and also it gave me the control that I didn't have at the beginning. So having someone that is not yourself to guide you, to keep you accountable, and to fight the urges to quit is essential. And also you gain a lot of perspective. Like you see stuff that you didn't see before. Like I thought I was, I'm rational. I can do what the fuck I want in my life. But in reality, and I thought, emotions are for girls. Like I'm not affected by emotions. But, in the end, I discovered that I was totally governed by emotions all the time, and I was not being myself, and I was not free. And I was not free to do what I wanted in my life. I had so much resistance. And now after 1 year and a half, maybe, I'm not there yet. I'm never gonna reach it probably, but I'm on a good level of my life where I have this awareness. I have this lens to look inside myself, and it's the most powerful tool of all time. I feel so grateful to have received it from you.
And it was my pleasure to give it to you, because here's the thing also, everybody has this power to become free and happy inside. It's just we don't use it. Once that thing gets activated, because here's the other thing, it's not the coach that does the work. The coach gives you an example, gives you some tools, you do it. Once you do it, you find that within yourself, you are well on your way to freedom. And you are one of the clients I'm the most proud of. Because not only you aced the program, you did all the work we had to do. We have been working together for more than a year, by the way. It's like it took long, and it was very hardcore in certain moments. And now you are on your journey to inspire more people to do that, in a different realm in their relationships. But that fills my heart with joy. It's like my presence is spreading to more people, also thanks to you, somehow.
Yeah, and I felt that I was kind of copying you, but I didn't feel like I wanted to do the same. I didn't want to work with relationships. I felt that, I had this inspiration to apply the same kind of concept, maybe packaged in a different way, but for work, which is very important to me. I think that, you spend most of your good time, quality time on work. And if you work for something that is not purposeful, and not for yourself, then you're just wasting your energy to nothing. And you cannot go back in time and gain it back, right? So for me, it's essential that people realize what they're doing, look inside themselves, and start asking themselves empowering questions. Like, if I had all the money in the world, what would I do with my time? Would I do the same thing, working for like a big corporation for nothing?
Yeah, I'm actually curious to hear from you how your perspective to work changed, because I when I met you, you were working in Amsterdam for a normal company doing some IT work, right? That was like, I think you took the classic path that any graduate from business school takes. You go work abroad, and you do the normal career. Maybe you plan to be promoted in a few years. You want to build a life, and so on and so forth. Then you changed completely. You are on the other side of the world, right? You became a coach yourself. How did it happen? What happened inside you? That's what I'm curious about, because I only saw it from outside.
So I've always felt that I had so much potential and a fire inside me. And yeah, I can use my fire for another company, right? I was actually doing very well. I got promoted, and then when I said that I was quitting, they proposed me to get a big promotion. So, I mean, I have the fire. I was just wasting it completely. And that sensation of wasting my time, wasting my energy, sparked this change in my life. I've always wanted to do something independent, because I really value my time, my independence, my freedom again. And actually, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I thought I wanted to do startups. I tried, although it was not fulfilling, and I felt it. And then I looked inside myself, and I said, okay, I've always wanted to help my friends with their life, but they never asked for my help. And also doing it as a profession, gives you recognition, gives you money, and also your clients can actually do the change, right? So I asked myself, okay, why not? It gives me the perfect freedom to travel the world and meet new people and learn.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I don't know what's gonna be in 5 years. I'm actually very curious. Did you hear me? Sorry.
No, I lost you. I lost the connection. Got funny for a moment.
Yeah. So okay. Sorry.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's how I want to live life. And as I was saying, let's see how I'm gonna be in 5 years. I'm actually very curious about my life path.
Dude, even just in 6 months, I think you're gonna be in a completely different place internally and externally as well. It's gonna be amazing to see that. Even in the last 6 months. I mean, in May, I was in Amsterdam with you, right? We were finishing the program with the in-person session, right? And now you are in Colombia, everything changed. So it's gonna be when a human starts becoming free internally, the process is exponential. So it may seem like nothing is happening, especially in the beginning, but as you grow more and more and more and more and more and more and more, this ball of awareness and love and realization of who you are accrues more and more to the point where it explodes and your life goes out of control in a positive way. You know, this is also what happened to me. And as you were talking, a few words came up that caught my attention. One is potential. I didn't want to waste my potential, and that resonates very, very deeply with me. And the other one is purpose. And there is another one I would like to add, which is impact. So talking about potential, I also felt I was completely wasting mine when I was in university. I remember I was studying in Barcelona back then, my master's degree, and I was writing. There was a moment in which I was writing cover letters for companies, and they were asking like, "Why do you want to work for us?" Like,
yes, your company culture really resonates with who I am.
Yeah, exactly. It's absolutely different from all the others, right? I'm sure you guys have this way of doing things completely different. You don't sell something most likely useless for money like everybody else does. No. You do something else, right? And so I had to use my potential, in fact, to get creative on how to bullshit harder than others, to get a job, to do something I didn't want to do, with people I didn't want to be with clients I didn't want to talk to, with bosses I didn't want to deal with. So it was like, what? This is suicidal. This is completely suicidal, right? So I started to ask for something different. I was realizing how, notwithstanding the fact that on paper, I was studying in one of the best universities in Europe, and in theory, I could have gone work for some of the best companies, right, in Europe and in the world. I was like, this is all wrong. This is all wrong, right?
It's like it looks like a theater, like where everyone is acting, you know, like
it does. Yes, it is. It is. And I have some friends who work in investment banking or in consulting. They tell me how it is. They tell me that's exactly how it is. Everybody's lying. Like there is this house of cards kept in place where everybody knows what they're doing is completely useless. Not completely, but to a great extent useless. But they keep doing it because that's how it is. And this giant lie perpetuates itself. And it doesn't care for the people who work inside it. It just cares to perpetuate itself, you know? So yeah, I was like, deeply I knew I didn't want to be part of that. Even if back in the days I didn't see no way out, right? So, and another word that comes up is impact. Very often when you study in a business school, in the ones where I went, the word impact is one of the main buzzwords, right? I want to make an impact. We know the Generation Z wants to make an impact. If you come to work for this company, this place, you're gonna make an impact on our clients, right? And then what is the impact about? You make some company earn more money. You sell some more computers, or you sell some more stuff that is not actually needed most of the time. Like, of course, lots of what we produce and do is useful and should be done, and many of the services that are done, of course, but most of it isn't. You know, like if I take the example for management consulting companies, which were the ideal scenario, best case scenario for everybody in theory. Like if you end up working in a management consulting company, you are the best guy in the universe. Like that's the idea. Then my friends who work there told me that most of what they do is to help companies do their internal politics. Now, there's some managers who want to get some funding from their home company, from the holding. And so they need some consultants to confirm their idea about the investments so that they can get the funding. And so there is this whole way of arranging data to confirm a thesis that is already in place. And so it's like, what? Right? And another thing I believe is that humanity, for the way it works at the moment, will not solve its problems by having more technology or by having more physical innovation, more technological innovation, because we have everything already. I mean, I'm talking to you live. We are registering this call from the other side of the world, right?
There's so much information as well.
Everybody can do that.
Like
but
so
no one
much.
is happy.
Did you hear me?
And yet, yes, I do. Now I hear you. Yes.
Yeah, I was saying
nobody is happy.
Sorry, there's so much information. We have access to tons of videos, books. It's mind-blowing. You don't even have time to read all of it, right?
Yes.
So what's the solution?
And content as well. Exactly. And the thing is, everybody is unhappy, at least in the West. You know, and no one really is peaceful, and no one is really fulfilled from within. And no amount of external things will ever solve this. So as I found my way in coaching, I really realized that's what I want to do, because I feel like I'm making real impact. Like when I take a human who is stuck in the rat race and I show him, look, you are not this guy convinced that he has to make money to prove himself. You are a free soul, came on earth to do something important. And then that person changes course with his life, changes course with his relationship, and starts having more fulfillment, starts having more joy. That's really the impact I want to have. And
then it goes on.
As the human change internally, everything else will change externally. Exactly, it's like a spiral. It's a fractal of people changing like that. And one last thing, then I will let you talk, because I'm sure you have a lot to say, is the word purpose. Purpose is, especially for men, especially for who embodies the masculine energy, is extremely, extremely important. There is an amazing book called The Way of the Superior Man by David Data. I recommend it to everybody. This guy says, the masculine is satisfied by achieving purpose. As a man, you have a mission in life. Okay, as a man with predominant masculine energy, because of course there are men who are more feminine than masculine, but the majority of men are more masculine. The majority of men are here to accomplish something important. If that mission is not accomplished, if that purpose is not touched, if that potential is not fulfilled, it is inevitable that the sense of frustration will emerge from you, that your life will turn to shit if you don't do that. And that's also what I found with myself. And as I found that I do have a purpose, which is a very cool one, by the way, to incarnate, and I started living it, I find fulfillment by doing very, very little. I earn very good money by doing the things I like doing the most. And I have a lot of free time to keep doing what I care about and sharing myself more and more and more and serve more people. So it's beautiful. Like life becomes more and more effortless as you do that. And yeah, this is this is what I wanted to share.
And yeah, there was a book about just not having control of anything and just accepting. And what's it called? I forgot the name.
The Surrender Experiment.
Yeah. Did you read it?
The Surrender Experiment. Yes. Yes, and I applied it as well.
Yeah.
I applied it to the best of my abilities, and I would say it's working. I really get it. I really get it. So what happened to me was, so the idea expressed in this book is that life actually guides you towards your purpose, but you have to say yes to what happens. Even if it's counterintuitive, even if you think that you shouldn't be doing what is presented in front of you, you should do what you think you should do. The skill you must develop is to say yes and go for what is presented to you in the present moment. So there was a moment when I was in Barcelona still. I went to this ayahuasca retreat, and I just got fired by the previous company I was working for and I hoped to intern with. And in this ayahuasca company offers me to work with them. And it felt good, but I had some doubts, like, can I convert the internship? Will it work for me? Does it fulfill the requirements I have? Yada, yada, yada. Also, it's something completely unrelated to everything else I've done so far. Even if I love the experiences I have with them, I don't know. Oh my God, right? And then I managed to say yes to that. A friend of mine also helped me out to become clear on that. I managed to say yes to it, and it was the best internship ever, the best experience ever, the best everything ever. And nothing else could ever compare to that. Nothing else my mind could have come up with. No other solution I could have forced myself to find would have compared to that. Yeah, and that's surrendering. That's the ability to say yes to what is, essentially, and embracing it fully. And the more I did that, the more I found myself in amazing situations doing incredible stuff. And that's how life has become for me. Like every day is very profound. Every day is very, very fulfilling.
Sorry, I lost you for 1 second. Yeah, one of the downsides of living in Colombia.
Yes, but we are not scared by that.
So you were saying, yeah, it led you to fantastic situations, right? Whereas
yes,
if you're not saying yes, what happens?
What happens is that life starts, like, it keeps putting you in situations that make you feel bad, that make you feel like you're constricted, make you feel dissatisfied. And the more stubborn you get, the more life has to kick you in the ass to get you on track. This is also what I found. So the more in tune, the more you listen to what life is telling you, to what from within is emerging in you, the more sensitive you get, the less life needs to be harsh on you. You know, small insights, small suggestions are more than enough for me nowadays to change my course and do something I'm supposed to do, even if it's uncomfortable. Back in the days, I needed to be kicked in the ass, you know, to have something relatively negative to happen to me. And I know people who are very, very stubborn and who have even worse experiences than me for them to change the course of their life. I have a friend who, in high school, he was being very irresponsible, let's say very, very irresponsible. And out of nowhere, during the last year, he became completely blind, or not completely, but almost. Like he lost 9 out of 10 degrees, you know, of sight in a matter of a few months. And from there, he started taking responsibility for his life. And then he became a very good student, and he graduated from very cool universities, and he went to work for very prestigious places where he would have never ended up before otherwise. You know? So this is how it is. So it's actually up to you. It is actually up to you. And everything negative that happens in life, has a message, has a meaning, has something to teach you. How willing you are to be with the message, to say yes to it, to learn what you got to learn, is up to you. And the more you are, the less harsh life needs to be with you.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, recently we've all been hit by something called coronavirus, right? Well, not me personally, but you know, the restrictions have hit all of us.
Yes.
And change our lives.
Yes.
I mean, it was very bad. A lot of countries suffered. A lot of people died, and I'm not denying that. But personally, I look back, and that's actually what allowed me to change my life, because I'm not sure that I would have changed in this way without coronavirus. That's actually really, really funny for me. So
yes.
There's always a tiny lesson. Maybe in the moment it's very shitty. Maybe you want to do something that you feel that you should try, and you make a mistake. But for me, it's better to make a mistake than doing nothing, because what actually you get is a valuable lesson. Is a diamond package with a lot of shit around it. You know, there you go. And then you find the diamond, you know?
Yes,
so
beautiful image.
Yes. No, some people might not understand these spiritual talks, right? So I try to make it very visual.
Yes. This thing you say, Like some people don't understand the spiritual talks. Here is another thing I found is that spirituality gets often misunderstood as something woo-woo and out there and philosophical, and that only regards religious people or monks, and it doesn't apply to me, manager working for Microsoft or whatever it is. Well, I may suggest a different vision. Spirituality is literally the study of life, how life works. What are the rules, the laws that govern the way life unfolds beyond all the technicalities and all the rationality that we have.
Beyond religion as well.
Beyond religion as well, exactly. So the universe has been going on for a while, actually for all eternity. And it is true that it's always evolving and unfolding in different ways, but the principles that regulate it are always the same. And in ancient times already, a lot of people find out about this. You know, the Buddha found out about this, Jesus found out about this, the Taoists found out about this. There are certain immutable laws. If you read the book of the Tao, for example, you find life lessons that are very applicable to everybody in any epoch, in any moment, because that's how life works. And so whatever your situation may be, if you understand what are the rules behind the reality in which you live, that's spirituality, you can take advantage of them instead of being dominated by them or suffering them. A mystic who lived in the 19th century, his name was Swami Vivekananda, said that the root of illness, the root of suffering is ignorance. In Buddhism also, this is a notion that is fairly used. What is ignorance? Ignorance is not knowing the capital of Indonesia or not knowing to do some math or whatever it is. Ignorance is not knowing who you are, what is your nature in the deepest sense. If you don't know what you are and how you function, then of course you're going to suffer, because it's like you are a guy driving a Ferrari, but you don't know how to drive. Nobody ever taught you. You don't even know you're in a car. So of course you keep crashing everywhere, you know, and then you go like, oh no, you complain about it. You also complain because the experience is unpleasant. Spirituality is about learning how to drive. It's like learning, okay, this is the engine, this is the wheel, this is how you change the gear, this is how, okay, you will crash sometimes, but now you know how to learn how to drive, right? Once you learn how to drive, you will keep crashing here and there, but you will get better and better and better to the point where your driving experience will be very, very pleasant. You will be able to go exactly where you want to go.
Yeah,
and maybe
it's
you may. Yeah.
I have one comment. Sorry.
Go. See, please.
So, yeah, it's like when you're driving without thinking. At some point, you're just driving, and it leads you to wonderful places. You don't have to put the effort. You're in synchrony with what's going on around you, and that's the beauty of it. I mean, in the end, we are just spectators, and we are just enjoying every moment of our present, right?
That's beautiful and very synchronous as well, because that's exactly what I wanted to say as you interrupted me. Well, I wanted to say exactly, if you learn how to drive very well, you get to the point where the car goes by itself and you just find yourself, you know, being where you never expected to be, but you just like it a lot. So yes, absolutely.
We're in synchrony.
I like it a lot. Yes. So what is happening in your life recently?
So right now I'm discovering myself. I'm actually manifesting what I imagined about my life, my future, and you know, it's not as easy as I thought, but I'm learning a lot, how to build a new business, how to help actually clients, and yeah, every day is learning.
Wonderful. You know, another image that comes to me that often I use to explain this life thing is, see life as a video game and see yourself as a character in the video game. Now, you are actually not the character. You are the guy with the controller playing the video game, sitting behind, you know, out of the screen, like out there. There is a guy actually playing with Sergio's character. That's who I am. I'm not Sergio. I'm the guy playing with the character. That's the first step you gotta do, which is also what you were talking about. You have to disidentify from the character that you are, realize that you are the player inside. you know. And so all the thoughts, all the emotions, all the bodily reactions that come up, it's not you, it's what your character is going through.
Well, I have to say, I think you're just the right joystick, the right, what's it called? The thing that moves.
Yeah, the joystick, yeah. Yes,
just
yes.
where you place your awareness, where you place your view.
Yes.
Pretty much. You're
Yes,
not even,
absolutely.
you don't even choose where you go. You're just, you know, placing your awareness.
Exactly, exactly. And so if you don't know how to play the game, which can be translated as if you don't know where to place your focus, your awareness, you may be tempted to call the game a very shitty game. When I was a teenager, I was playing video games a lot. And one thing I would hear a lot was gioco di merda. In Italian, it means shitty game, you know, like it's people dying in a multiplayer game and complaining about the game, you know? But that's a very irresponsible way of looking at things. It's like, it's you don't know how to play, dude. You know, it's not the game being shitty. Yes. So life, the question everybody should ask himself is my life going the way I would like it to? Am I getting the kind of experience I want to get? If not, it may be that I don't know how to play. It is very wise, in my opinion, to invest time and effort in learning how to play the game. And then we are really talking. Then you can really start having what you want to have and experience what you want to experience.
Yeah, in a way, you're taking responsibility for your situation.
Totally.
So instead of complaining about the system and the rules, which you cannot change, like what can you change about the rules of physics? Nothing, you know. What can you change about the nature of our DNA or genomes? You know, like cannot change anything. So, but you can change. You can take responsibility and look inside yourself and change what's in here, which in the end is your command center, right? Mm-hmm. And allows you to live effortlessly, more beautifully. Very bad grammar, and
it's okay.
It's okay, and fulfilled and free.
And the other thing I found is that the game is actually perfect. Every time something doesn't go according to how you would like it to go, it's either because it's going very well, you just don't see, or it's because you have something very important to learn, and that's the only way for you to learn it, which means still the game is going much better than you think, because you got to learn that, right? So every time something unpleasant happens to you, the question to ask would be, how does this make me feel? Because in the end, emotions, internal reactions we have are like the compass. They tell us what is going on. How am I resonating with what is happening? Am I feeling bad about it? Good. What is this feeling telling me about this? And we go back to the letting go. If you listen to the feeling until it goes, you will get to the point where you will know what you had to learn from it, what you had to let go of. When we say letting go, what are we letting go of? We are letting go of an attachment. What is attachment? Attachment is like, you know, the hooks that go and take peluche in the arcade game, you know, the one you control with the joypad, and there is the guy that takes the thing and pulls it up, you know?
Yeah.
The mind, for the way it works, is like a hook, seeing things that is programmed to want and getting attached to it. So attachment is, I want money. I want a certain amount of money in my bank account, or I want a relationship that is like this. I have a girlfriend and that's the only woman I'm supposed to have in my life. I have a job and I want to have a certain career. I want to see myself as prestigious and as accomplished and as whatever. The mind gets attached to identities. It gets attached to a certain way to see itself.
It's expectations.
All right. So I may
in a way.
Yes, as well. And these expectations about things that we are not, because all these expectations, all these attachments are from the character to something that can relate to the character, but none of them has anything to do with the player back there. None of them. When you let go, and also these attachments, it's these attachments creating the negative sensations in our body. So let's say I want to be, I want to impress someone deep inside, you know, I'm not aware of it, maybe that I want to impress, but I want to have success in life subconsciously because I want to impress, I'm attached to impressing others. If I don't manage to do that, I will feel very bad. If at work I have a bad day or the other guy gets promoted and not me, I'm going to feel bad. Even if I get the success I want, I'm gonna feel bad because I don't have. There is more success to have now, so I'm still missing something. If I let go, I allow this attachment to success to fall off and be like, you know what? If I get successful or not, I don't mind. It's fine. Whatever it is, it's okay. Those feelings will stop being there. The way you act and think and be and are will change, because in your mind, that string of code that says success is important will not be there anymore. So your computer will optimize itself for different outcomes.
Yeah, I mean,
which allow you to be happy.
Yeah, I totally agree. So we live where? In the past, in the present, or the future? We always live the present, right? So in a way, it's kind of projecting an idea about the future of what you want, what you apparently want, this attachment, and projecting it to the present. And then you're basically comparing an ideal with what you are. And of course, you're always going to feel bad because, it's totally different, right? So once you let go of this,
yes.
Once you let go of this expectation, and you just have the present moment. And when you realize that what you have is only the present, and you start actually appreciating what you have, what happens to you, what you do, which people you meet, then you start enjoying life fully.
That's beautiful. It's beautiful you said that, because the fact that only the present exists is one of the main rules of the video game. We may be tempted to believe that the past exists and the future exists, but no, what exists is us thinking about the past or the future in the present. All the thinking as well happens now, but we are constantly looking backward or forward. And why do we do that? Because we have certain attachments. Like somebody made a comment about us a week ago and we're still reacting to it in our mind. We're still angry at the person. It's still something we want to prove. Or we see the future, we'll be like, no, I want to have that amount of money. I want to have that kind of life. I want to have that kind of relationship. I got to do things now in order to get there. But exactly, you're not enjoying what is. And the underlying assumption is that the present sucks. Somehow it's not convenient for me to be in the present. It's much better to fantasize about what I'm going to do after. Which, especially for men, is very connected to the idea of outcome. I want a certain outcome in my life, and so I do things in order to get something in the future, which on the surface may sound wise, because you may tell yourself that you are wise because you're planning your life, you're being responsible. In fact, though, very often, I don't say this is a bad thing in general, but it's okay to have a vision. It's okay to have a purpose, have an idea of what you want to be in 6 months from now, 1 year from now, 10 years from now. Absolutely go for it. But when you do something to get something out of your action, you're not acting out of full intention. You're acting out of fear. You're acting out of attachment for that specific outcome to realize. This is very true in sex, for example. Many men, when they are having sex, they go like, okay, I gotta make the woman come. If she doesn't, I'm not performing well as a man, which means I'm a piece of shit, which means I don't deserve women, which means blah, 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 bad treatment, very bad treatment. And so instead of being present with the woman they're with, instead of making love to her, instead of giving her what they have right here, right now, instead of being themselves, be felt by the woman, they think, oh, now I'm going to touch her like this, and I'm going to kiss her like that, and I'm going to pet her like this. So she's going to have this and this and this sensation. And women who are more in touch with presence and feelings and the present moment itself, actually, they go like, they even if physically everything is working, at an energetical level, they can sense that the guy is not there.
Yeah.
And what actually allows the orgasm to come is the presence. What allows love to come is presence. It's not the physical moves you do. Sure, you gotta know how to move yourself, but that's not the only thing. Actually, it's one of the least important. And this applies not only to sex, but to everything else in life.
Yeah, it's about your vibe in the end. If you're saying the right things to a woman, like, yeah, if you come up to a woman and say, hi, I think you're beautiful, you have a very shitty vibe. You can say whatever you want, you can do whatever you want, that apparently works on surface, but if your vibe is not there, then the other people sees it, and he's also inside that vibe, right? Like, he's also attracted to that negative vibe, let's say that. So yeah, I totally agree. The way to have the best vibe is to be fully present and actually start enjoying what you're having. If, for example, if you're having sex, start actually enjoying the pleasure that you have, getting in the moment, more animal in one way. So in a way, we are kind of learning how to be animals, like de-learning. And because actually, if you look at animals and plants, they just are. They don't think about what they want to do. They don't think about the future, the past. Like, I look at a cat. Sometimes I'm jealous about the cat. Like, they're just there like this, just chill. They're happy. They're happy. Why are we not that happy? So we are learning how to be children, how to be animals. And yeah, if you do that, you will experience life fully, 100%. But it will take quite a long time to reach to a good level.
Most likely.
And for me, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You finish.
Yeah. So for me, it was, I was doing the program, and I was like, okay, when are the results coming? Especially during Corona, I couldn't see the results, but I was kind of like a root, like a flower, blossoming inside and then ready to explode. So like, just trust the process, keep going, and once the opportunity comes, you will fully utilize your potential, what you prepare yourself for.
The image we used back in the days was that of the bamboo plant. You remember?
Yeah, exactly. I forgot about the plant. But I like to be a flower.
Of course, yeah, absolutely. And the thing with bamboo is that it works very well with the metaphor, because the bamboo plant takes many years to grow out of the earth. It is said it takes 7 years of nurturing for it to put down the roots, and then it shoots itself to heaven very fast. But for those 7 years, you don't see anything. Maybe you see, a little small plant coming out of the soil.
Look here. Look what's around me. Huge bamboo.
Exactly. And see how long, how hard and resistant it is.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That takes time. And if you see the roots of bamboo, they're like tiny knots that are engraved in the ground, and it's impossible to eradicate it. And this is also, now we are going more and more specific here, but many people who are on the spiritual path, they want to be enlightened. They want to get to the 7th chakra. They want to reach bliss and ecstasy and whatever. Okay. And the thing is that everybody forgets to do the root work, to work on material things. It's like, are you able to go to a woman you like and say her that you like her? Yes. Are you satisfied with being in your body? Are you healthy? And these are all things that not just spiritual people in general forget. Like, so many people want to become CEO of whatever company, and they're not healthy. They don't have a healthy body. They sacrifice their own health, their own well-being to achieve stuff that on paper is good. The shift that I believe needs to happen is, I come first. First, I must be healthy. First, I must be good.
I love myself.
Okay, which doesn't. I love myself. Exactly. I feel good within myself. Then when I feel good within myself, parentheses, I have a good vibe, everything else comes easier. Instead, if I first focus on achieving stuff, and inside me there is an army of demons killing each other and making noise and pain and bad stuff happening, how am I supposed to achieve anything in my life?
It's like the
Everything I achieved
Italian
in my life,
parliament. It's like the Italian
exactly,
parliament.
literally.
Like everyone arguing,
In fact,
not deciding.
yeah. Exactly. And everybody, all of these internal parts are holding their game, are playing. In Italian, we say there is gioco delle parti, the parliament, right? So you have the right wing always says the same thing. It doesn't matter what the topic is, they're always gonna use it in the same way. And then there is the left that is always doing the same thing. And then there's the extreme left always doing the same thing. You know, even inside of us, we can recognize the voices. There is the scared voice that says, no, don't do it, be controlled, be whatever. Then there is the guilty part. Oh my God, if I do that, I'm gonna be bad. Oh my God. What did the person do to me? Now I'm gonna get angry. It's always there is this cycle. There is these voices talking. There is this theater inside of us, actually. Everything we achieve in our life is despite of this internal mess that we live with, not thanks to it. I invite everybody watching this to ask him or herself, what would my life look like? What would I be able to do if there was peace inside of me? If I didn't need to do anything, and I did everything out of fun, out of love, out of willingness to share myself, what would I achieve? And then look, about right before starting this podcast, we were talking about another client of mine who now is focusing only on meditation, only on letting go of stuff. He doesn't work, he doesn't do anything. He only eats, he only does survival functions and lets go of stuff. Why is that a smart thing to do? Because when he will be done with it, everything will come easy to him. Even if on paper he's stopping now, he's not doing anything productive, he's not building anything, he's not achieving anything. Internally, he's cleaning himself, he's doing root work, he's establishing the roots so that he can blossom after. This is something that in our society is completely neglected. Actually, I remember, if you think about how we go through school, you start school when you're 6, you finish when you're 24, you don't stop for a second, especially if you go study in universities like the ones we did, where every single moment there is a next exam to prepare. You don't even have the time to think about what the fuck you want to do in your life. And you're supposed to have a job as soon as possible and find the internship and then another internship, and then you gotta go work somewhere and you take 2 weeks off. There is the fear that if you go look for a job, the HR will ask you, what have you done in these 2 weeks? Now justify yourself to me. What have you done with your life for these 2 weeks that in the CV I cannot see? You see? And so there is this paranoia going on. I must do something all the time. And that actually keeps you in the loop of suffering. It doesn't let you have the time to see what's going on inside, which is the most important thing.
Yeah, in reality, you are free. Like at any time, any point in time, you are free to do what you want. And in reality, society is just what we internalized about the rules of society. So, it's quite crazy if you think about it. Like society doesn't give a shit about you. Like people don't care about you. People have too much problems to think about themselves, right? So like let go of these of what you think that society thinks about you, and then you will be free. You will do what you want. Yeah, it's fucked up. I agree. Like,
absolutely.
We should teach emotions. We should teach a bit of spirituality, maybe packaged in a vanilla way, to kids, but also how to deal with like real life, like money, budgets, stuff like that. Like everything is theory, and when you go to practice in real life, you're a kid again. You don't know how to deal with situations. And yeah, we should start teaching about these kind of things.
Yes, and now that I think about this, there will be a lot of stuff to say about that, right? Now that I think about this, I think the figure of the coach, the profession we are doing now, emerged exactly because the educational system isn't able to provide the humans who go through it with the right tools to have a good life. The educational system, what is it? It's just a reflection on a micro level of what society in the bigger scheme is, which is this, in a modern day capitalism / consumerism, it's this huge industry going on and putting out stuff to be bought so that more stuff can be produced, so that more stuff can be bought. And everybody is supposed to be some gear in the machine, right? Which is not too bad in itself. We had been very much worse times before, right? In the Middle Ages, it was much shittier than now, for sure. Yet, now that we realize we have everything and we are unhappy, it is evident there is something missing.
We have everything.
Something that is missing.
We have everything, yet we're not happy. Why?
We do, because the rules of happiness have not been taught to us. And here's the other thing: as children, we are blank slates. We don't know anything about the world as we are born. Then our parents tell us what they believe is true, and then our teachers in school tell us what they believe is true. And then we watch television and we read books, and then we have our experiences with other people who have been conditioned by their parents and by the teachers and by the books. One of my teachers has this likes to explain it like this. For the first 21 years of life, we are like a camera recording on the record button. We record everything that goes around us. Then from age 21, we press the button play. And so we enact everything we recorded up to there. And then when that happens, you're dead as a human being. You're just reenacting the past over and over again. And you will find yourself in the same situations, in the same relationship that your father found himself into, that your mother found herself into. You see? The thing is, it would be difficult for society to teach stuff, because society, like school, let's say, sorry, not school, not society, but school teaches you what is mainstream, what is accepted by everybody. What is accepted by everybody is mediocrity. You know, mediocrity is not necessarily a bad word. It's like the average of what everybody thinks. Yeah. So if you live in current society, what you get indoctrinated with is the average of what everybody thinks. The average of what everybody thinks is not going to make you happy.
Because you're not the average. You're something else. You're unique. You're that point, that dot in the curve, right? So how can the average define you, right? And that's why I think it's important that coaches actually fulfill this role. I don't care if it's me or Sergio or another coach. Like, I think it's very, very important to have someone to guide you through this, to give you the knowledge about how to approach life with all its rules, right? And start unlearning what you learned in the first years.
Totally. And the cool thing about mentors is this: when you are around a mentor, what you pick up, it's true, you pick up the teachings, you pick up the lessons, you pick up the tools, but most importantly, you pick up the vibe, you pick up the mindset, like the way of looking at things, the way of playing the game. If you can suck that and implement it, you will find yourself to be a different person relatively soon. And that's much more powerful than any book, any video course, any seminar you can ever go to. Having someone following you for a long period of time until you really get it and you apply it in your life, it's priceless. I had so many mentors and I'm so happy about that. There is a saying that says, you are the average of the 5 people you spend most time with. Now, if you spend most of your time with your friends from university who do the same job as you, do the same things as you, think the same things as you, what kind of life are you going to get? You're going to get the average of that. You know? If you start surrounding yourself with people who have a different outlook, who have a different energy, who have different objectives, different perspectives, yours will start to shift and you will start finding different friends, different people in your life. That's what happened to me, you know? So when you hire someone as a mentor, what you're doing is you're essentially cheating in the game. Instead of going to find someone who like a different outlook and implementing it yourself, you are borrowing it from someone else, and so you get it much, much faster. And once you change your mind, your reality changes.
Yeah. Sorry, I lost you for 1 second. Yeah. So
Yeah.
our mind really likes to confirm the current version of its reality, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yes.
if you are a person that believes that everyone hates him, like society hates him, he will find real life examples to confirm that belief. And this is, by the way, it's science. So like it's how biases work, right? So
Yes.
if you actually change the belief, then everything else will catch up to that. So everything else that happens to you in life will happen because you believe it's right for you. But how do you change this belief? You know, you need to find powerful techniques, because you cannot just change your mind by saying, hey, I'm changed. But then, you know, how many times have you tried this? Like, I never, and not successfully, right? So you need to do some deep internal work with several techniques. Meditation is one of them. There are other ones, and change that reality.
Totally. It's a work of deprogramming and reprogramming. That's another way I like to describe it. And one way for everybody to know how ahead they are is to take an honest look at their life and ask themselves, how am I feeling? Am I having the experience I want to have? Yes or no? Without judgment. You're not a failure just because you're not living the life you want to live. Just be honest with yourself and know that having is evidence of believing. So do you want to know what you believe about? Yourself, life, money, love, whatever? Ask yourself, like, look around. What do you have in your life? What you have is evidence of what you believe. And that's it.
Yeah, I agree. So what do you think is a I think we said a lot about freedom, a lot about programming, deprogramming. I think it's quite a lot for our followers, but
for anybody, yes.
For anybody,
yes. I agree.
So let's wait for another episode of this. We're gonna talk about some other topic.
Absolutely. A suggestion I have is that we both finish by saying what we are doing, what we are offering, so that people can also, put the pieces together and be like, oh, that's why this guy is talking about this stuff. And of course, if somebody is interested in reaching out, they know why they should and how it works.
Yeah. So personally, I offer career transformations, and I help people find a more purposeful job and spend their time in a quality way, right? And how do I do that? Through managing emotions, through changing your beliefs, deprogramming from what you thought was true, and reprogramming with beliefs that help you in life, right? And what do you do, Sergio?
Beautiful. I do something very similar. I help people find their freedom through relationships. So thanks to the relationship you have or you don't have in your life, you can have very clear evidences of what your relationship with yourself is, what your beliefs with yourself are. And from there, you can use the relationships as a mirror to change yourself inside, which has two main benefits. Of course, you catch two birds with one stone. Number one, your relationships start to improve. It will be easier for you to meet romantic partners that you want to have in your life, the kind of fulfillment you look for from romantic relationships. And two, the rest of your life will change because you inside will feel more free. You will feel better. And that will translate to better money, better job, better spiritual development, better everything else. And this is what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's not only about romantic relationships, but it's also about relationships in general, right? And we are
yes,
relational humans, I would say. So we cannot just survive alone in this planet. I mean, we could, but
even if you are alone, there is still a relationship going on, which is the relationship you have with yourself.
Yeah.
That's actually the most important one. And every other relationship you have is a reflection of the relationship you have within. And so this is the game I play. We use external relationships to work on the internal one.
And with that, I thank you very much, Sergio, for today's talk. We covered a lot of topics, a lot of awakened topics.
Thank you very much. Yes. Thank you very much, Angelo, for having me here.
And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.
See you. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. Bye.